여러분 안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. 네, 저는 건국대학교 국제처장 염재웅입니다. 오늘 이렇게 많은 분들이 와주셨는데 매 학기 우리 펜스테이트 대학의 샘 리차드 교수님과 로리 멀비 교수님께서 건국대학교를 찾아주셔서 특별 강연을 해주십니다. 오늘도 특별한 주제로 우리 한국의 20대 여러분들에 대한 강연을 해주시기로 했는데 한 가지 덧붙여서 말씀드리고 싶은 것은 우리 샘 리차드 교수님께서는 건국대학교 문화 컨텐츠학과의 석좌 교수님이시기도 하십니다. 예, 그래서 항상 여러분 유튜브를 통해서도 많이 접하셨겠지만 강의가 굉장히 재밌고 또 강의 형식도 굉장히 또 파격적인 형식을 택하고 계신데 오늘도 아주 재밌는 강의, 유익한 강의 될 것 같습니다. 예, 큰 박수로 샘 리차드 교수님과 로리 멀비 교수님 모시겠습니다. 큰 박수 보내주십시오. 감사합니다.
안녕하세요. Thank you for coming. We really happy to be here always. Whenever I come to Korea, one of the most interesting things and the most fun thing that I do is come to Kongguk. So I really appreciate being here and having you come, and especially the students from the high school. You rock. All right, thanks for coming. So we had this idea that it would be really fun to do a presentation here. And by we, I mean me and also Laurie, Dr. Mulvey, my wife, who I will introduce in a couple minutes. But we had the idea that it would be fun to do a presentation here like I do in my class. That we bring people, have people volunteer and come up on the stage and talk. And on the second segment, we have 4 questions that we want to ask. 3 that we will get to for sure. 1 that we may not get to, but the second one is for high school students. So we will need 3 volunteers. So think about who wants to come up and volunteer. But if you haven't watched my class, so it's a big room, 3.5, almost 4 times the size of this room, and it's really a lot of fun because what I do, instead of sometimes I walk around and I talk like that. But mostly, I don't. I invite students up to the front, and they sit on a table, and they answer questions, and they talk, and they have conversation. The student in the middle there was actually one of our students who came to Kongguk for 2 summers ago. So she got that jacket, and so now she reps your university, and so. Sometimes they are students here, right? and I won't embarrass you, okay? And we talk about different things that are happening, different issues in the world. And these were 2 women who were from Saudi Arabia, and they were speaking with this woman about what it's like to be hijabi, to wear a hijab, and just their daily experience. And it's a really nice opportunity for students, for young people, to talk about how they see the world and how they envision the world. And I don't ask them questions about knowledge, things that they have to know, they would have to study for. They're only questions for which they have answers. So today, as those of you who volunteer to come up and have a conversation with us, there are going to be questions that you can answer, that you have answers for. And that's what makes it fun. Here's somebody here. We're always laughing because life is about laughing, and education should be about laughing. High school students, don't study too hard, okay? Like really, it's not worth it. Don't study too hard. You're going to end up in college if you want to go to college, to university, right? And then eventually you're going to be old like me, and you have to be able to look back in your life and feel like it was a good life. And you didn't spend the whole time studying. And so these students here, I'm just showing you different photos so that you can get a feel for that. And this is a photo of Laurie. Sometimes Laurie comes to class, but her work is mostly in small groups. So she doesn't have cameras in her work. She sits in circles with enclosed rooms and has much more intimate conversations with people. And Laurie is the person who taught me how to ask really good questions. And so, Laurie, why don't you come on up, if you could, please. And, yeah. Okay, see that? Because we will rely on you to ask really good questions. Yeah. And what? And
oh, there we go.
And if you, how would you? So we're now pretty quickly. We're going to ask for volunteers here. So why would somebody want to volunteer to come up here and have a conversation with us?
Because when you get asked a question on the spot, you often say something that's true and that maybe you didn't know before that you actually thought. And that's when learning happens, one for yourself, but also for other people. So that's why. It's about learning.
You end up teaching yourself.
Teaching yourself. I always say that we don't know what we think until we're asked to articulate it, until we're asked to say it. And so we often surprise ourselves when someone sincerely asks us a question, not a question that give an answer, but you think it's a mic?
This is why we say that people who are teachers generally do their best learning when they begin to teach, because that's the time in which they have to take ideas and put them together and express them or explain them to other people. For me, because Laurie and I teach like this, by just asking other students questions in this kind of way, we're learning from students. So today we want to learn from you.
Well, I often ask the question in any kind of learning environment, who's the teacher and who's the student? That's really, it should at some point become unclear who's teaching and who's learning, because really we all have different thoughts and we learn from each other when we're being honest.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I don't want to put the first question up yet. We're like 3 volunteers. Yeah. The second set of volunteers are going to be students from the high school.
Right here.
Yeah. So who would...
Is there anything you can say about the question? What were the theme of today, so that anyone who volunteers would have some idea?
The theme of today is life in Korea. Yeah. So there's some of you who are not from Korea. You're also invited to volunteer. But it's life in Korea.
And usually we ask questions that maybe have answers that are contradictory to each other. And some people think that that means controversial, but that's not what it means to us. It means that we ask a question that there's different ways of answering it purposely so that we can think together. Because when something has multiple answers, it means it's very interesting. And so that's the kind of questions that we'll ask, right?
The only things that are really interesting, or the things that are most interesting in life, are the things that have multiple answers. Yeah, that's the thing. That's what's important.
Yeah, like Loki has black shoes on. Does Loki have black shoes on? that's not very interesting because when you look at her shoes, you would probably say yes, right? So we're not going to ask those kinds of questions. So
so it's
if
fun.
you're volunteering, that's kind of what you're walking into is a set of questions that have multiple answers, and we're going to all learn. So
All right. So who would like to volunteer? Who wants to come up?
okay, right there.
1, 2. Let's do 3 on the first one. 3? Okay.
That's awesome.
Okay, come on up. Yeah, that's great. And by the way, we don't know what the questions are yet.
Yeah, we don't
So-
have them prepared because they never can be prepared.
And when you see me, if you ever watch videos, I have a sheet of paper that has some questions on, but I never know what's going to happen. So, oh yeah, maybe we'll move in just a little bit. Okay, so we can start. Just introduce yourself and.
Should I do it in English?
You can do both.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sohee Yang, and I'm currently a junior in Konkuk University, and I'm majoring in English literature.
Welcome. Do you want to also say it in Korean?
안녕하세요. 저는 건국대학교 영어영문학과 3학년에 재학 중인 2, 3학번 양소희입니다. 만나서 반갑습니다.
Hi everyone, I'm Yuna Cho. I am currently studying educational technology. I'm in my 3rd grade. Yeah. 안녕하세요. 저는 교육과학과에서 3학년으로 재학 중인 조윤아입니다.
안녕하세요. 저는 강성현이라고 하고요. 지금 건국대학교 경영학과 2학년 휴학하고 지금은 1년째 휴학하면서 백수 생활하고 있는 강성현이라고 합니다. Hello everybody, I'm a Konkuk University student, 2nd grade. I'm currently taking a break for a year and just to do I want to feel. Yeah,
You're taking a break for a year.
for a year.
Ah, good for you. What are you? Wait, hang on, clap. Yeah, okay. What are you doing for a year?
When a year, do whatever I feel. I'm
whatever you
currently
feel.
had a break for a year, and I'm taking another year
Oh,
for a year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going for the vacation
yeah.
and working, do what I want to do, and making money out of it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good
Yeah,
for you.
good for you. That's important. Taking breaks is really good, by the way. Okay, so here's the question. What's one thing that you would like older generations to understand about your generation?
What comes to mind right away?
Can you say that? Can one of you translate that into Korean really fast just to make sure everyone understands exactly what it is?
MZ 세대로서 또는 더 어린 세대로서 나이가 있으신 연세가 있으신 분들에게 저희를 이해해 줬으면 하는 부분이 무엇인지가 질문입니다.
And maybe before, or as you're thinking of your answer, one of the reasons that we're asking this question, is it okay, Sam?
Yep.
To say, is because we hear a lot these days, maybe more than ever, young people, so college age, high school, college age people, talking about and referring to the older generations in ways that it was clear that there is a disconnect, that they feel like people who are older don't understand something important and they're not really talking to each other. So we just thought we would start with just what are some of the things,
Yeah.
or
And
one
we're
thing.
thinking, and you can just think about here in Korea. And when we say older generations, we're talking even like old people, like me. I'm young at heart, but I'm old in body. So what do you have? What's one thing you'd really like them to understand?
Do you want to start?
I haven't really thought about it, but the first thing that pops into my head was that maybe something went viral recently in Korea, which was about younger generations in the workplace having some disconnections with the older generations, which was about the young people being rude. And one of the main issues was that the young people come right on time. If it starts at 9 o'clock, people come, like the younger generations, not everyone, but some of them would come right at 9 o'clock. And some older generations would see that as incompatible, maybe. I don't know, but something like that. So there was a debate about whether you should, if work starts at 9 o'clock, do you have to be there at 9 o'clock, or do you have to come 5 or 10 minutes early to prepare for the job to start at 9 o'clock? So that was one of the most hot topics in Korea recently, of the younger generations versus the older generations.
And what would you like, what do you think older generations need to know? What would you like them to know then about people your age? And
I think younger generations tend to not really get, I don't know how to say this in English, for the money that you get paid, you don't want to overwork. Something like that. So, because working time is hard and you want to go home fast and something like that. So, they don't want to come at 5 minutes early to start. Yeah. Because,
so younger
not everyone,
generations.
but
so one thing is like a balance between working hard and living.
yeah.
We say, in English, we say work-life balance.
Work-life balance, yeah. Okay.
So, yeah. Is that an expression here in Korea also? Something similar?
We have it. We call it 워라벨. The first keywords. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
How about one of you? Like, what is something you would like older generations to understand about you and others your age?
I have one thing in my mind that older generation thinks going to good college, getting good grades, and getting into like prestigious companies like Samsung or Apple or Google or other kind of like well-known companies is what defines you as success. But in our generation, we define success as something that can satisfy you and something that can make you happy in your life.
Do you see a lot of unhappy older people?
Well, I personally spent my whole life following what my parents told me to. So I went to medical school, like previous to Konkuk University. But then I dropped out because I realized this is not what I really wanted to do. And I'm really enjoying studying English literature right now. And I don't think like what you consider prestigious or what you consider fame or what you consider, what I should say, pride. It's not what defines you as a successful person, because being on top of others or being better than others doesn't mean that you are a successful person.
Okay.
Yeah. That's big.
Very loud and clear.
Yeah.
You said that.
English literature.
I
love English.
look at how happy your face is.
Wait, hang on. Are your parents happy with your decision?
At
Wait,
first,
hang on. Remember you're on a live stream. Yeah.
I love your mom and dad. At first, they were very, very concerned about my decision.
Yeah.
All my parents, my family, my grandparents, they were like, why don't you think twice? Like,
Okay.
can you just do LOA and then drop out of medical school? Like, this is your, and like, they kept telling me, like, this is not what you really want to do.
Okay.
This is not success. But eventually I dropped out and I transferred to Konkuk University. And I think my parents are, I should say, glad
Cool.
that I am enjoying my life in Konkuk University.
Wait, hang on. Mom and Dad. Awesome. from two professors here. Awesome. Well, I think what matters, what you said it, like the smile on your face. You're happy.
You're radiating.
So older generations, when you think about it, I mean, it sounds like your family did a nice job, right? They kind of wanted to push a little bit. Are you sure? You know, but okay, but that's cool. Which is what you want. You don't want them just to say, okay, good. You drop out and become an English literature major. You don't want them to do that either because they're watching out for you. So you want them to ask you, are you sure you want to do this? Are you
you want them to care.
certain? You want them to care. And so they did that. And so that's good.
And the older generation isn't going to be represented here in responding to this question, but if they were responding, that you would hear many things that are also valuable and important and practical, right? About guiding the next generation. But I do want to say that I pointed someone out in the front when you said what you did, because I had a conversation earlier about this issue, and I'm guessing there are many people who can relate to taking a step, right? Taking a step that other people aren't telling you is the best thing for you, and all you have is yourself to trust, and that's big. That's a lot, right? So I just wanted to say why I was doing that, because I think that you're not alone.
Yeah.
So do we want to hear your...
Oh, yeah. First of all, I got some... I have opinion of older generation.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
You're going to give us your opinion before you give us the thing you want them to understand.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, good.
First of all, I think young generation have to take more risk. That's what I think.
Take more risks?
Take more risks.
Okay.
That's what I think. I'm a little bit far from this generation right now, so I think...
Wait, you're far from this generation?
No.
You?
I am.
Because you... Why? How?
No. Because I've been in college, but I had taken a break and I had some experiences outer college relationship. They were some working people and foreigners and my parents. And how people make me think more like them, more like living people. But like people here is like studying, so they don't really know much about our culture, our what goes around in Korea. So what I think is more close to older generation.
Okay.
Is my thinking.
Okay.
And what I'm thinking about older generation is they don't know how to listen. I mean, that's the
they don't know how to live.
Listen.
Or risk?
Listen.
Oh,
to
listen.
No, it's not I want to propose. It's a fact. They are accustomed to not listen and do their thing. They're trained to be concentrate on their living. So even though I'm moving my mouth, but they ain't no really conversation going on. I mean, there's a facts. I mean, I'm not giving any purpose or to understand something. They do their way, you know what I mean? So I have some kind of empathy for them.
You have empathy.
Okay, wait,
Yeah.
can you also say that in Korean, just to make sure everyone hears?
방금요? 다 이해하셨을 것 같은데. 뭐라고 했더라? 저는 좀 나가서 일도 조금 하고 그래도 여행도 조금 다니다 보니까 저는 저거 같아요. 젊은 꼰대 같아요. 네, 그래가지고 좀 더 나이 많은 사람들의 입장에 공감을 하고 그래가지고 좀 젊은 친구들이 좀 더 유연해져야 되지 않나. 왜냐면은 나이 드신 분들은 살아온 게 너무 팍팍하잖아요. 그러다 보니까 진짜로 자기 살 길밖에 잘 모르고 그냥 얘기를 하더라도 별로 막 서로 커뮤니케이션 하는 느낌이 잘 안 들어요. 그래가지고 저는 약간 동정어린 시선을 가져야지 뭔가 우리가 요구를 하고 그럴 수 있는 입장이 안 되지 않나 그런 식으로 생각을 하고요. And
So this is now the one thing that you want them to understand?
no, it's a fact. It's what goes around. It's my opinion, just a background.
Well, wait, hang on though.
Yeah.
I want to turn that into something that. So what you are saying though is to older generations, hey, it would be a really good idea. It would be good if you learned how to listen better.
Oh, that won't happen. Yeah. That's not gonna happen. Yeah.
It won't happen.
It won't happen.
Wait, are there any old people here?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, besides us.
Because I think that's the point that we decide to change. But we're same as them. We don't know how to listen. That's the same thing.
Yeah.
But we can be changed. We can have empathy. We can be changed by have a little bit of respect and empathy by giving first hands. You know what I mean? Giving their hands.
So understand that that's true. That they're not listening because they're very focused on what they're doing. But then to make a difference, you just have to make your own decisions without them listening.
No, what I'm thinking is giving them first our hands, to giving them first listen and to have empathy.
Okay.
And first off, we listen. I listen, then they're gonna listen. You know what I mean? First thing is to listen ourselves.
Oh, you start the listening.
Yeah, start off by young generations.
Okay.
But it's kind of hopeless.
But is there something though?
To like add what he says, he's saying that we should understand the older generation first, and they will listen to us. That is his point.
Yeah. So it's like reverse psychology.
I don't know really bit of psychology, but it's fundamental thing. You know what I mean?
Okay,
it's a different thing. You know what I mean?
So, all right. So then, if just to go again on what you're saying, what do you understand? About the older generation that makes them so focused and makes them such. Wait! Don't you don't answer yet. I want to. We'll come back to you. Yeah, for sure. If you agree, what makes them? Just to have some empathy here for a minute. Why are they so focused on their work and not listening?
From what I think, I don't think it's just about their work. I think it's also in their personal life as well. Because seeing my mom and my dad and some older generations, I see them not just as my teacher, my professor, or my somewhere else, like whatever their jobs are. I also see them as a mom and a dad, or someone's sister, or someone's brother, someone's daughter, son. They have those kind of responsibilities as well. So, and I know because I've been through some of the family dramas. Well, not really serious, but some dramas. I know that it can be really stressful, and the matters in the family, it's really hard to define, and it's really hard to navigate their way through it. And I think it gets harder when you get older. So they have those kind of burdens in their shoulders as well as their professional life, in their workplace as well. So I think that as you get older, you have more responsibilities, also in your workplace, but also in your house. So I think that kind of makes them hard to focus on what the new generations say, because this is how I've been doing my work, and you're in a learning position. So they think you should learn the ways I did as well, because this is the way I learned. So I think that's one thing to understand. For my personal opinion, I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's really important that, to add, there's work and there's work responsibilities, but then there's all that interpersonal stuff that goes on and gets more complicated as you get older, you're saying.
Also, one thing to keep in mind is for Laurie and for me, we spend a lot of time around young people, and we're always talking to young people. Always. Our whole lives, for the past 40 years, has been talking to young people all over the world.
Since we've been young.
We have
we were
never
also young
not talked to young people. So for us, it's just much easier to put ourselves, like I can be right in your seat, and we have trained ourselves over time to understand how you think, and therefore to not think that we have all the right answers, because we watch these generations come by with really interesting insights that are different from ours, but really interesting. But if you're not around young people all the time, it's not so easy. Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would say about what are the things that the older generation is working on or is holding?
I kind of make a contradiction to her point. She said older generation want to teach us something, but I think older generation doesn't want us to go through what they have been through, especially in Korea, because we have been in state of like a war for quite a long time, and they have been suffering from their poverty. They had to skip meals because they don't have. They couldn't afford to eat. They couldn't afford to be educated, go to college.
Yeah.
So my grandparents' hope was to have my mom go to university, good university, and that's what my mom was able to be educated and get well fed. That's like.
And her generation was part of uplifting Korea, the nation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and my mom is trying to help me to avoid all the hardship that she has gone through. And now I'm living in this generation, avoiding all the hardships and sufferings that they had been through.
Yeah.
So the idea, so by them saying, listen, if you went to medical school, it might be that your life is just going to be a little easier, and some of the hardships that we, especially your grandparents, that they experienced, maybe you wouldn't have to experience those. So that makes sense, really. Yeah.
And yet it's only because of what the previous generations did that this generation can talk about work-life balance, right? Because they gave you that gift, right? That's that's really interesting.
Right. They created a
different
very
Korea.
developed Korea, a very wealthy Korea that you all can go balance your lives
and come to work at 9 instead of 8:35,
and leave at 6 instead of 9.
Did you want to add something about?
Can you repeat the question? I forgot the question.
It was just the idea of like you brought to us that the older. Did you have something else to add?
Oh yeah. Older generation, they think there's a route to everything. There's an answer to everything. There's some specific route. You know what I mean? You have to go
like a clear path.
Yeah, just a path. You know, the average path. The you know what I mean? What's it called? Original? How's it called?
Yeah, the standard.
Standard course.
Path. Okay.
I mean, you have to go college. You have to go army. And have a family and to get a job, and everything works like a factory. You know what I mean? I mean, in this age, in your 20, you have to go to college. In 21, 22, you go to army, and after you graduate, you get a job, go get a family, and they think it's as a one route in their brain, so they don't think outside of it. Even though they tell me to do something different, but like a minute later, they told me, like, oh, you haven't gone army yet. Oh, yeah, it's a little too late. You know what I mean? It's just a contradicting.
So what makes them think that way?
I think that was the right way in their time. You know what I mean?
Okay.
There was like a fast growing, and there are a lot of populations, a lot of jobs. And they may seem it's like a right job right now in their time, and it was kind of was because they have a job for their entire life. And get very good family, and it's very hard to go to college. But right now, everything is different.
Right.
University doesn't price the same. You know what I mean, job is hard to get. Population is going rapidly shrinking. You know what I mean, it's a different. What's it called? 환경. Context situation. Completely different situation, but the same answer. What stressed us the most? You know what I mean? Because they forced us to. Do the same as they did, but they're like I said, they don't know how to listen, so we don't have to really call with them. You know what I mean? Really communicate.
You know what's interesting too, based on what you all were saying about what is distracting them, you know, responsibilities and work and how they've done it. It's like they're so busy doing those things that it's very easy for this to happen, right? You spend 2 decades working, taking care of your family, doing all the things you have to do, and you don't realize that the world has changed. You don't see it because you're living your life, right? But you all have grown up in a different world, and you're like, but the world is like this, right? And so it's a very interesting divide between the generations, mostly because everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, right? The older people are taking care of what has to happen, and you all, the younger generation, is blossoming into a new world, right? So,
Yep.
Okay, interesting.
That's cool.
That's
a cool insight. These are all 3 cool insights. You're great, the 3 of you.
Do you want to?
No, I think we have more questions. Let's bring more people. You're awesome.
Yes, thank you for
But
sharing
we
your.
will-
Is it
yeah,
okay?
thanks
Did you
for-
feel like you were
You
able
feel
to
good?
say what you wanted to say? Oh, good. One more thing.
These are mostly for high school students here, because for me, I'm in my 3rd year, but this is my 1st year in Konkuk University, because I'm a transfer student here. I went to other school for 2 years, and I transferred to Konkuk University. And even in my 2 years in my other college, my first major was 자유전공, which was, I don't know how to say, open major. So my first year was open major. Yeah, it's
Like you could study
undecided.
whatever you wanted.
I could spend a year not choosing a major, and on my 2nd year I had to choose my major, and on my 3rd year I had to choose another major again because I wanted to transfer. Well, it's not that I didn't like my first major, but I had a lot of concerns about my career and something like that. But I just wanted to say to the high school students or anywhere, the students here who want to change their majors or study other majors as well, I just want to say that it's not too late to try anything, and first experience something first. I don't know if that makes sense.
It's not too late to try anything.
Yeah, try something and see if it fits you, and then try to decide something. And then it's not too late to decide after you try something. So there's always a way to go to another major and something like that. So I just wanted to say that this is not the end of the world if you choose a wrong major for you. I just wanted to say that because
you
there's
would
a
say
lot
the
of
same.
burden.
Yeah,
and you
thank
would say the same. You can. Okay, one more.
One more. Oh, this is great.
Because I'm like a decade older than them.
You can say it in Korean too, by the way.
제가 99년에 태어났는데 나이가 많아요. 그렇지만 저희 엄마께서는 사실 40살이 넘으셔서 대학을 또 가셨어요. 그래서 그걸 보면서 older generation이라고 해서 다 꼰대도 아니고 younger generation이라고 해서 다 대책 없이 사는 것도 아니에요. 근데 지금 여러분이 원하는 거, do what you want to do. Because you can go to college in my mother's years. In older generations, you can learn in your 40s, 50s, 60s. Learning is never ending. Learning is ing. It's
Very true. Lifelong. Has to be.
life is long. Learning is lifelong, and don't be trapped in your few years in high school.
Yeah, that's what I say. Go play.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Should we? Three high school
students from high school. 1, 2, 3. There's 3 of you. Come on up. All right.
Okay. Awesome.
Thank you for volunteering.
Okay. First off, let's introduce yourselves. Yeah.
Hello. I don't know what I should say. I'm a sophomore year and a junior year in my high school because the curriculums are a bit different in Korea. But I'm in my 2nd year in Konkuk High, Konkuk University High School. And my name is 윤정 Lee. 안녕하세요. 저는 지금 건국대학교 사범대학 부속고등학교 2학년 재학 중인 이윤정입니다.
Hi, I'm a freshman in Konkuk University High School, and my name is Jian Choi. 안녕하세요. 저는 건대부고 재학 중 1학년 최지안입니다.
Nah, hang on. Maybe it got put on.
Hello everyone. I'm currently studying in the second year of the Konkuk University High School. I'm Cheon Park. Thank you very much. 안녕하세요. 저 건대부고 2학년 재학 중인 박채연이라고 합니다. 감사합니다.
Yeah. Okay, here's our question.
What is something you would change about education in Korea and that you think would not only benefit students but also improve society? So I'll say it one more time. So what is something you would change about education in Korea and that you think would not only benefit students like you but would also improve society? Wow, that's a big question.
Yeah, that's a big question.
Wait.
Can somebody translate that into Korean?
그 한국 교육에서 한 가지 바꾸고 싶은 게 있는지에 대해서 여쭤보고 있고요. 그리고 이 바꾼 것이 그 사회를 더 발전시키는데 어떤 영향을 미칠 것인지 이런 것까지도 여쭤보고 있는 것 같습니다. 학생들뿐만 아니라 이제 사회 전체에도 좋은 영향을 미칠 수 있는 교육 개선 방향을 좀 여쭤보려고 하시는 것 같아요.
All right.
So
Does anyone have a first response to that?
Yeah, just
All right.
first thing.
So we had the education just changed this year, and I think the first major problem is that they make us decide our future very young, and we have to decide our major at freshman year, and then we have to kind of add up to it till you graduate, and then you go to that major. And I've experienced like international schools and American public schools, and what I've thought is that in America you experience everything till like sophomore, junior, and then you kind of, lead up to what you actually want to do. But I experienced Korean culture, and then they want us to decide just everything at the youngest age, and it's better to start at a younger age for us. And I think to improve the society, and from like my experience, I think they should let us kind of explore all the different topics first, and then kind of make us decide what's best for us, because we're deciding what we are going to do for more than 30 years until we die, and then but we can't really decide that if we just experience life for 16 years. That's really not that much of time. And I don't think we are that experienced yet to decide something that's like a life decision.
Yeah, that's very wise, actually. Imagine, look, Laurie and I, on a regular basis, we ask ourselves these days, what do we really want to do in life? Yeah.
Or what else do we want
What
to
else
do?
do we want to do? Yeah. Huh. We're still asking that.
And just to say, that question feels just as alive and important as it did when I was in high school and college and graduate school, and it just keeps going, right? We're alive, and so life keeps unfolding. So it's very interesting. I'm with you. How are you supposed to know when you're 15,
16, 17, even 20. I started out college as an accounting major. I don't know why.
I don't either. Because if you knew how Sam did accounting and math, you would never see him as an accounting major.
It was terrible.
He does not follow any rules ever. So spreadsheets, it's very funny.
I'm very good at math, but I make up my own rules. Okay, so
It's true.
And then the end of my third year, I transferred
Of college?
I became a social work major. And then in my fourth year, I became a sociology major. So it took me 4 years of college to find sociology, you know. And okay. Okay.
Okay, I'll go for the next. I really think about the competition that the Korean system is making. For example, like if you make a current grade, it's like dividing the people for a 1 to 9 grade. So we have like different all things about it. And actually, I've experienced in another country for like my middle school. In another country, and it was very free, and we didn't have a division between the students, so we didn't really have to like fight with my friends, and I just had to make my own grade. So if it changed in Korean school and only looked at their personal growth and their like school activities, what they did, it would be better like to just eliminate some competition between friends.
Rather than just rank people. But when you were saying that, I made me want to ask, when was the first time that you were in a school setting where you realized you were in competition with your fellow students? What was that moment?
That's a good question.
I think it was like the previous semester that I had an exam, because last year I didn't really like care about how I had to fight and do some things for my friends. But I realized that my friends are also like exploring their new educational skills, and my grades are falling because of them, and I feel like, oh, I have to win them to get a better grade. And I feel like when my friends are studying next to me, I have to study better than them. It just makes me feel more stressed and compressed because of that.
And does it put a barrier between you and your friends when you realize that you're in competition?
Actually, as a competitive person, I kind of. So I just don't really want to, I don't want them to study in front of me because it makes me feel nervous.
Yeah. And they might be studying better. And they might get a better grade.
Yeah, maybe it's my personal issues, but I don't really want to have a really big competition with my friends. So
that's a whole interesting realm to think about, how the competition divides us from each other.
Wait, how did you say how old you were when you first realized you were being judged? You were
just
ranked?
this year.
Just this year?
Yeah, this year.
Because you were in a different school system? Or different?
Last year I was in the school, but I didn't really care about my grades and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. But once you started to care, then you realized, oh, these people are my opponents. Yeah, your enemies.
You know what? If you got really bad grades like me, all through high school, grade school, high school, it's not a problem
You have
because you're
lots
not
of friends.
competing with anyone. I was friends with everybody.
Wow. But yeah, that's deep.
Does that change your personality? No, how has that changed your personality?
It's like my friend once told me that, oh, I want your grade. So I was like, what? Because I didn't really think that someone would ever tell me about their grades that they want me. And I was just living my life and just studying by myself. But someone just told me that, oh, I want your grade. I'm better than your grade and stuff. So yeah, it really touched me.
Yeah.
Now I have to change.
Yeah. You were competitive, right? As in high school?
We didn't, in the US, we didn't have what you have here in terms of competition, but my friend's brother told me that every class you take, the teachers didn't tell us this, every class you take and every A you get puts you higher in rank. And so I remember feeling like I was in competition with my friends, even though it wasn't explicit, like it might be here, or like my parents would never say anything to me, teachers wouldn't, but I said, I want to win, which is not, I don't look back on that and think that that was a very good thing.
What did you want to win?
I don't know.
You just wanted to be.
Just to be the best, right? What do you all want? Somehow someone says you're the best and we're supposed to feel good about that. But it didn't feel good.
Yeah. You know,
didn't.
I have a quick story I can tell, I think. So 2 weeks ago, last week, I golfed with some friends and we played for money. Not a lot of money, like 5,000 won per hole. Yeah, not like we weren't gambling, but maybe it was 10,000 won per hole. Yeah. But which is not much money, okay? But I found myself, because of that, kind of watching them get ready to take a shot and thinking, oh, I hope they missed the shot. Because I wanted to win the money. And I thought, and I had to stop and say, wait, I don't want to win the money. I want them to to hit the ball really well and take a great shot. But each time I had to remind myself that that's what I wanted. So 2 days ago, I played golf with some other friends, and we didn't play for money. And I didn't have any of those feelings. The whole time I was really just going like, okay, come on, you go ahead. You can make this putt. You know, like I really was rooting for them. I was encouraging them. And yeah, so that's kind of an interesting thing.
So we're sort of getting to, you know, how does something that you would change about education impact society, right? If you change the competition, it changes society, right? How people feel about themselves. I just want to hear, you haven't said any yet, and then we're going to go back.
So I want to add like another perspective to here. I've also lived in other countries for 6.5 years, and I went to international schools. And I've actually been in 9th grade when I was in international school. So I actually had kind of like the high school life in international schools and, you know, outside of Korea. So I know how the IB school program goes. I know the criteria. I know how the grade comes out. And what I really felt different about Korea is that they want, I think it's sort of related to what the previous people said, but they really want answers in Korea. So, for example,
And wait, who's they? They really want answers.
like older generations and adults and like the whole kind of society wants like answers, but clear answers.
Specific
Yes.
answers.
Because, well, they give you assignments and they have these criterias on the assignment, and they won't let you look at any phone, any book, but you have to remember them by heart and you have to spit it out on the paper when they give you out. But when I was living in other countries, well, we're free to use our phones, we're free to use our notebooks. We even had individual notebooks for each of us, and we could use it on every assignment. And we turned every assignment by Google Classroom and by internet. So for me, this was kind of like, really, do you think this really helps remembering something by heart? And
Wait, given that you have both experiences,
what do you think?
What do you know that you could tell us?
well, there is a clear difference, because remembering something by heart is knowing that knowledge for forever, I guess. So if you remember something, you know that for your life. But actually, like finding something from Google and searching from internet, searching from books, from, you know, those articles and other sources, you know how to think by yourself. Like,
So different skills or different talents as a result.
you kind of get to know who you are, what you want to do, what you're interested in, and really what you can do in your skills. Because researching is also a skill, and choosing a topic for the research topic is also your skill, and it is really affected by your interests.
So then, what would you change about the education system in Korea, given that you see what both of those things give you?
Well, in schools abroad, they, like for example, US, they have SAT programs. SAT tests, and in Korea also have the Korean kind of SAT. We call it 수능, and I think instead of like, you know, as other students said, instead of actually promoting and like getting people into competition, I think rather than doing that in high school, you can let high school students research about what they really like and what they really want to do, and assign like, you know, like value them through the criteria we have, like criteria we have in Ivy leagues. And
So you're saying you would lean toward getting people to do research and not memorizing.
and then if they really want to grade us, because we have to go to colleges, that's what people think in Korea, and you have to rank them, and that's what people think in Korea. If you really want to do that, I think it's a good way to do SAT, like Korean kind of SAT for that college, like programs and curriculums. And while you're in high school, I think it's better for other people to look through some other books, articles, and.
Can I ask a question? Are you ranked in every exam that you take or every paper that you submit, or is it something that happens like at the end of a term and everyone gets ranked?
It happens every semester, like every test you take, like the mid test and the final test.
You know who did the best, and
Well, we don't know who did the best because they say it's promoting competition. So they eventually hide it these days, like for the older generations.
but you know that you're somewhere on the list.
But they tell you in what spot you are in, like what grade and like.
Yeah. So how about, by the way, I had this thought. Remember when we were in high school and college, and we would take a math class, and you couldn't use a calculator
Yeah.
because they would say, when you're out on the job, you'll never have a calculator with you all the time.
Yeah.
And they were wrong, because we all have calculators.
Every minute of every day.
Everybody will have a calculator. You'll have to memorize this information, because when you're out on the job, you'll never have access to the information. Well, it turns out we do.
We have every bit of
And by the way, almost everything I've ever memorized before I was 25 years old,
Yeah.
I have forgotten.
Yeah. Like I think often about how I memorized the whole periodic table, you know, and I remember sitting at the kitchen table with my mom and coming up with all of the different ways to remember I only remember one, and that is AG, silver. That's it. Of all, and then there's everything else I ever learned I don't remember. So it's interesting.
Do you have another thing that you would say?
I was gonna say something controversial to
Oh.
the competition, because I think not everyone, but many people think that Korean education is kind of, bad, and it's like it kind of drives people crazy.
Okay.
But
Well, it's very rigorous. It's very rigorous.
But I think it also has some good points and some good indications. I think the competition, program or curriculum I think it's beneficial. Everything, if it's like too much, then it's bad, right? But what I'm saying is that in a level where it doesn't cross the line, I think competition is beneficial, because I think taking tests, the meaning of taking tests is to find out where you
stand.
Yeah, right. And if you don't really satisfy the score, then you could do more effort and then get a higher score. And that's how you find out where you are and how much effort you have to do. And I think to get that, you actually have to test yourself. And I think ranking doesn't only mean about comparing me to others. It's also about how good you are, and just testing myself.
It's almost like you're saying it's like a mirror. Like you don't know how your hair looks unless you look in the mirror, and the score is like a mirror. This is where I stand in terms of my knowledge. That's very. I like that you said that.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And we will say, just to build on that, we always say that students in Korea, and especially we talk about high school students, ask the best questions, the deepest questions, the most analytical So that must have something to do with the way education's happening, right?
Yeah, clearly it works, you know. But then by the time you get to college, you know, like, yeah, whatever. I don't have time to ask the question.
Have we said enough about how this would improve society, these different things affect society? Do you want to go there, Sam, or do you?
Well, so one was, it would improve, so it's like what you're saying is, on one hand, it improves society if you didn't judge us so much. But by judging us so much, you're actually also improving society.
Elevating.
You're elevating. And that's like, that's the balance. That's the thoughtfulness. Yeah. You three are awesome. Wait, maybe we should
Yeah, is there
continue.
anything else someone else
Do you have a
wants to say
final
before
thought? Do you have a final thought? Or do you have a final thought? Do you have another thing?
Just, wrap things up.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Wrap things
I
up.
think the final thing is that we should, let high school students and younger students kind of experience everything before, you actually make the choice. But I think some kind of competition should apply to that decision. And so I think they should let us, choose other subjects before you actually choose them. And then, kind of test yourself. And then if you think that you don't suit that major, then you could change it and then test yourself again. And then if you think that's the right decision, then you could, lead up to it and actually major that, something that you're going to do your whole life.
That's awesome.
One thing I want to point out, just before we transition to the next thing, I really hope that you all are hearing that so far in both conversations, we've gotten to, I'll just say contradictory information. That's all important,
Yeah.
right? So both like, here's the older people don't listen. There's a good reason why they don't listen and other things, right? And it's like competition. But it's really important to have competition. And those are the kinds of things that when people are actually addressing a problem together creatively, you actually get to be much smarter because you start to work with all the different perspectives. So when you come up with the real answer to this question for your society, it will be a much better answer than if it was just with only one side of the conversation. Right. So I hope you're seeing that's the value of hearing from different people. And it also stimulates your own thoughts, right?
Yeah.
You have one more thing?
Can I add one more thing? Sorry, to wrap things up and hearing other students' opinions. Well, I don't really think Korea's education is that bad. It's just that I really wanted people to have more thoughts of their own, not, those textbooks and what really the answers require. I really want other people to think about their own opinions. And I think those kind of training skills are a bit, not that much inclined in Korean education. So I really wanted to say about that. And yeah, I think Korean education is okay because you can live with those knowledges you learn in high school throughout your life. And if you get enough education in high school, there's no problem in living. So I think, so I think that's really good. And to wrap things up, I think this question was very meaningful to me because I've always been thinking about how can I really change Korean society by changing the education curriculum. So I think it was very meaningful to me.
Because now you're thinking, well, there's a lot about that I like, which is good. That's a good place to start.
But what you said that is really valuable is don't push memorization too far. Don't make it only about memorization. But one of the reasons we do that is because, for example, if someone said to me, okay, which of these three students did the best job here today? And you have to choose one. So we all have to choose one of them to who's going to win the prize for who did the best job. Could anyone choose? I couldn't choose. I don't know who I wouldn't choose one of you. You all were great. But I have to choose one of you, okay? So I don't know what to do. Oh, I know what to do. I give you a test. and I just see, it's a very objective test. It's not an essay. It's a test. You have to get the right answers. You have to memorize a bunch of things. And then whoever gets the highest score, that's the one who did the best. And so then I can just easily say, okay, it was you. Here, congratulations, you won. And that's one of the reasons why we do this kind of ranking thing, because it makes it really easy.
So it serves a selection process that has nothing to do with, that doesn't have a lot to do with the learning process or the performance.
Yeah, that's right.
There's another factor in there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that's the unfortunate place in which we are. But yeah, you were all awesome.
And different. You're very different. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well said.
감사합니다. Yeah, thank you. Great. And this is so much fun. It's so much more interesting than listening to me and you. Well, listening to me anyway. Yeah, you don't listen to me.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that's great.
Right. Do you want to, is there anything you want to say before we go on to the next one?
No, I think...
Just going to do 3?
Yeah, we'll just do 3.
Okay.
Oh, wait, we don't know which one we're going to do. Wait, wait, hang on. I'll show you. I have it on my phone. Okay, let's start.
First introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm studying in Konkuk University, and I'm a first grade of the civil engineering students, and this is the second semester for me, and my name is Minhee. Hi, everyone.
Hello. And in Korean? Do you want to say it in Korean? Introduce yourself.
안녕하세요. 저 이름은 정민희이고요. 현재 건국대학교 1학년 재학 중이고 토목공학과 재학 중인 정민희라고 합니다.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Giju Choi, and I'm in my second year of majoring in international trade.
International
Trade.
trade.
Yes. 안녕하세요. 저 국제무역학과 24학번 최기주입니다.
Hello, everyone. I'm Pia. I'm from Germany, and I study business in my second year.
Okay. How is your Korean?
Excuse me?
Do you speak
You say
Korean?
it in Korean?
Not really.
Okay. Say it in German then. Introduce yourselves because we have actually a lot of people who will watch from Germany, so.
Alright. Hi, ich bin Pia. Ich bin 20 Jahre alt und studiere Business, jetzt gerade als Exchange Student in Korea und bin im 2. Jahr.
And where are you from in Germany?
I was born next to Stuttgart, and now I moved to Mannheim, nearby Frankfurt.
Awesome. How long have you been here?
I arrived here in August, and I was sent for 1 semester until December.
Yeah, okay.
What is the ideal relationship between men and women, and how close is Korea to achieving this? And we're being very specific about men and women in this question, because there's a lot of different directions this question could go, but there's a history of a different way that men and women have lived and worked and related to each other in the world. So that's why we're saying, what's the ideal relationship between men and women? And how close is Korea to achieving this? And the reason we wanted an international student is just an outside.
Like what you have seen so far. So you're not an expert on it, you haven't lived here, but just what you've seen so far, what you've heard,
But you don't have to start. But maybe you can start, because
That was my fault. I'll
Oh
start.
my God.
Yeah.
What happened?
I accidentally turned my volume way up.
Okay. But it seemed like, maybe what's your first response to the question?
I was not expecting that question.
See, it's a fun question though, right?
Well, today is about Korea's 20s, so I thought it would be more about ages and, I don't know, maybe social structure, but...
It's a little bit about social structure, right? If you think of like men and women in society, we're not talking romantic relationships, so.
That's not my specialty.
And by the way, what's really important, on a question like this is what I always tell my students, no matter what you say, like a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, 20 years from now, you would say something different. So this is just like right at this moment in time, what you're imagining, because it will change. And as soon as you leave the room and you have time to think about a question like this, you will change your answer. But that's why we do class in this way, because it really inspires us to think about things in some new ways.
And we want the humans to be thinking dynamically, right? We don't want just one answer and then that's the end of it, because life is way too dynamic. At least social life. That's what we're talking about. Okay. Just whatever your thoughts are.
I don't have an answer for that question yet, but the first thing that came through in my mind when I read the question is, man and woman, then I first thought of marriage.
Okay.
Maybe it's a bit conservative. Then I thought, Korean society, marriage rate is horrible. It's plummeting. Birth rate is doing horrible. But then I reread the question a few times, and the question was about what is the ideal relationship. So
look at all that thinking that has already occurred. I'm so impressed.
what I find something positive between what man and woman could be like. So actually, it's kind of about relationship, isn't it?
Go ahead. Wherever it takes you.
Well, God. Well, when it comes to relationship, it's about respects, right? Mm-hmm. So we're living in a very quickly adapting and changing world, and we have changed roles of women and men, which I think used to be more clear back in the past, but now it's unclear. There are more options for women, definitely, and perhaps for men too. Some jobs were, seen as a little bit unmale-like for males. Perhaps stewardess, I think, but now it's an option. So, with more options, there comes questions where should we accept it as a positive value to our society, or should we see it as no, this might become a problem and we shouldn't accept it?
Yeah.
And at what level should we not accept it, right? Should we just see it as it's bad, or should we put it in the low, write it down, because that's the next level, right?
Right.
And yeah, I think that's a broader scale.
Yeah, you hit on a lot of things.
Not very precise.
Okay.
Yeah, but
no, that's
I think
good.
that's how we could, get it started.
No,
I love it.
he said so many things.
Yeah.
I mean, really, birth rate, marriage rate, this changing roles,
Respect.
So many things you said, and then then law, government, policy, regulation. How do we do that? That's a lot of thinking.
Yeah, that's cool. That's why.
Thank you. Okay, so let's just keep going. Other thoughts about? Do you want to do it?
Maybe one quick thought that came up as he was talking.
Now hold the mic just a little closer. Yep.
Like this?
Almost like to your mouth, like that.
Okay, like this?
Yeah.
Okay. One little thought that came up as he was talking. I've heard from a Korean friend of mine that he said that before you marry, you have to buy a house. So that's the reason people don't really, or that's a burden for marriage at all. Like, I think that's very interesting and not an ideal state of the relationship. So
in your mind, how is that connected to the relationship? I mean, you're saying it, but what? Say more.
It puts on pressure on the relationship. And I think it's just a societal factor that can reduce the quality of the relationship, and maybe something that could be changed. But
can you just say how is that different in Germany, just from what you see there?
In Germany is more like you decide more focused on the relationship. Some couples don't even want to marry. Some want to marry, and after you marry, you decide if you want to buy a house, if you want to rent something, but it's not like a defined societal norm to own a house or something associated with the marriage. That's not a thing, actually.
So there's no pressure
No
on a
societal.
couple to
Like,
you could just
here in, oh, sorry.
find an apartment, rent an apartment, get married, and your friends and all would say like, okay, that's fine, that's a good.
So here it's more of a huge transaction that has to happen in order to have a marriage. Is that what you're seeing?
From what I've heard, yeah. And also that pushes the age of marriage to the back.
Yeah.
Higher.
Higher,
You have to-
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. What else? Do you want to weigh in?
For the first time I saw this question, the first thing popped into my mind was because always man and woman's in there somewhere, and there will be always with the romantic things because biologically they're different, and that's kind of problem. And there's something changed in Korea now, I think so.
Wait, can you say that? I'm only getting a part of what you're saying. Can you say it again?
Sorry.
No, don't worry.
The first thing I saw this question after I thinking about like it was that relationship is kind of romantic things, but you said it's not. It must not be that like that. And
But it took you to romantic right away.
yeah, so because biologically, man and woman is like always. If there is man and woman, then there will be always romantic things happen. So if it starts with the social things, or it was not a romantic things, but some people always think it as a romantic thing. So I was thinking about that kind of things, like keep there saying. So can I say it in that context?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. So these days, like 2 years, last 2 years, I have a lot of foreigner friends, and I met a lot of foreigners, and I've traveled around like Europe and England and somewhere, and I met a lot of friends, and they always ask me, "You have friends?" And the first thing I thought is a girl, not a boy things. Of course, I have some friends who is a boy, but the time is gone and time has passed, and keep thinking about that. Like, for example, the cultural thing is really different in here. Like, if we think about a relationship, romantic things, if there's a boy and woman, let's say the boy grabbed the door for the girls. And if it happens in Korea and the girl, 80 or 90 girls think about that boy, oh, maybe he has a crush on me. But I don't know what it is, but if it happens in the Europe or America, it's just a manner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even me, I didn't know about it before when I was a middle or high school. And I've been in here like university, and I've been trouble. And for the first time, the random man grabbed the door or something really manner or gentle things to me. And I was like, oh, what is happening?
So wait, are you saying that in Korea, a relationship between men and women is not usually friendship?
Yeah, so what I want to talk about is so the last sentence, that how close is Korea to achieving this is, I think it's not being in global enough, I think. Because still I think it's closed too much.
Yeah. So in other words, this is really interesting. So in so many places around the world, men and women can have these, in English we say platonic relationships that are not sexual and loving and so on. They're just friends, like a friend.
Yeah.
But here, you don't see that a lot. And
It's not that easier than
it's harder.
No,
And
it's
you're
different.
saying maybe the ideal relationship between men and women.
each other's.
Yeah, so you would be able to have more of these relationships. Men and women would be able to have more of them. Yeah, I got that.
So just taking it just for a minute from the more interpersonal to men and women in society, because you mentioned changing roles and like women in the workforce in ways that they weren't in the past, et cetera, right? So just thinking about that, men and women in society, what would be the ideal relationship? Because colleagues, partners, business partners, etc. How should men and women ideally be in Korean society, in the world?
I think we have to get used to not thinking they are not same gender with us. Like for the first time see someone, and I think Koreans really instinctively we think he is a boy or she is a girl. But I think we need to get used to it more like she's not a girl or he's not a boy. That is just the person who I met for the first time.
It's just a person.
So there's
It's just
too much.
a
You think
human
there's too much focus on when we see you, we see man or woman,
Yeah,
man or
because
woman.
I think it's because of our traditional things, but the time is throwing and we need to change, I think.
What do you think about that?
What do I think?
About that idea? Oh, God. I don't see gender is how I hear that. We should just not see gender.
as much as we do.
You got that right.
Very big step idea. Well, we should not see difference. We should not see.
We should not see gender.
We should not see gender. Okay.
Yeah. Man, woman.
Man, woman.
We'll go with that.
As a role, right?
Just I see you. I come to work. You're my partner, and I'm just like person. I'm not like man, woman.
Yeah, that particular case would be very good business etiquette.
Okay, business etiquette.
Because the thing about the question and how we perceive it with different languages is that we use the term gender, and I believe it's different from the term sex.
Yes,
And
yes.
when we talk about this kind of topic in Korea, I don't think we usually divide those two very often, as much as, like
In the US.
English questions, when you ask about this question, you have to divide if it's about gender or sex, right?
Yes, very
So, if we are talking about gender, and if it's more about like theoretical roles, I guess, oh God, it's hard. I don't want to get canceled in the internet.
Yeah, we don't want you to get canceled.
You're not close to getting canceled.
Thank you. No one's gonna know me. Like, who's that guy? I think it will be a good start to perceive people with not classifying them.
Maybe to get you out of that trap of saying something that sounds like it's cancelable, what would be the value of gender, sex not being the main thing? One of those filters that we deal with when we're in society, working with people, working with each other. So what would be the good aspect of it not mattering whether I'm a woman or a man?
Gives every individuals of the society opportunity to achieve what they desire, and an economic term that increases the output to its maximum potential, right? And I think creating that development is great for every welfare of the people within the society.
So a kind of equality of some sort.
Yeah. It brings out a potential that could have not been achieved in the past, as stopped by the general views of the people. But now you can do it, right?
So go ahead.
I want to ask you: have this idea of? So we talked about this last May with our students. This idea that a lot of Korean men and women, or young men, young women, like in college, there aren't a lot of friendships that cross sex and gender. Have you seen that in your time here? Have you heard that? Have you talked about that?
I have seen that. So mainly like boys groups or female groups. I think what's also interesting is that you see the popular music groups that are not mixed. They are like boys groups. Or girl dancers, there are few that are mixed. And I think maybe adding to the point we had before with equality being an important factor. Girls sometimes benefit from, or what I see like in Germany, if there is not a huge like perceived difference in boys and girls or in both genders.
There is not a perceived.
I would say less, like from what I like see, and it is also it differs from person to person. Like some people grow up in a different environment. Also in Germany, it's not homogeneous. So if you are aware that you're equally capable than the other gender, which hasn't always been the case, you tend to be more confident, put like more out, or like you trust yourself more, and then you can achieve more, and then you can contribute more to the world. And I'm unsure how that picture looks like here in Korea, because I've seen like couples that are kind of predefined, kind of, or in their roles, like the boys always very, not always, but what I've seen, the very protective part in the relationship, and the girls like pretty looking, small. I've seen very few women in the gym as well, even though like strength training can be very important for women too, as well as for boys. So yeah, I think they are kind of predefined roles.
So very clear, predefined roles. Yeah.
You know,
So can I ask a question?
Yep.
This is it's building on what you're saying.
and then we're gonna stop it in 5 minutes.
Okay. Maybe I shouldn't ask this question.
If it's going to take us way off into a
Maybe. Okay. It's a question to think about, maybe. My
Okay.
question is the equality or greater equality between men and women that's emerging here and around the planet, is that undermining the family? Because I'm thinking of more and more women in the world being taken seriously.
yeah.
Does that, you brought up the birth rate, the declining birth rate. Do you have just a first thought about that? Does greater equality between women and men undermine family and birth
It
rate?
lowers the birth rate.
Yeah.
In particular, we know. Do you want to just put it out there?
Yeah, I just wanted to see what first responses are, because I didn't want to. It's a big, big, big question. You have a first response?
I may have a short answer.
Yeah?
I think it can, but it doesn't have to.
Okay.
And there are multiple structures of family that can work.
Okay. So those structures could shift. They could be more dynamic.
And they don't have to lead to a lower birth rate in total, but there is a chance.
Yeah. Okay. First thought from you.
So with that question, I think that was actually the best question from this topic here, the third one. So the question says, Korea to achieving this, and I do believe that it's very important to have the word Korea in the question, because every country has different culture, and there is different ways to how we solve some problems that are within the country. For example, in Korea, I think it's a bit less now, but in the past, having a child before marriage is like a horrible sin,
Right.
Or
Terrible.
living as a couple within one place before marriage is also a sin. 동거. So funny statistics in Korea is that because everyone marriages before having kid, when you see a increase in marriage, you're 100% likely to see an increase in birth rate, like almost an equal level. Right after COVID ended, we saw a increase in marriage rate, because people go and they report, right? Koreans always do that. And then exactly next year, we had an improvement in birth rate, right? So it's exactly the same number, but we have to read it differently because we're in a different country.
Right.
And back to the original question, I do hear sometimes that conservative family cultures would be better to solve our birth rate issues within Korea, which I keep bringing out, but I think it's very important.
But that's if we maintain the same family structure, and you're saying, Pia is saying, we might not have to have the same family structure to have a rising birth rate. Who knows? But that's her hypothesis.
I think it's impossible to go
Okay.
back. Right?
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
The world is changing, and with us living in the global economic structure,
Very true.
maybe a bit
The world
changing.
is changing.
Yeah, the world is changing.
True statement.
We might go back to not trading.
That's
But
yeah. It may be. It's a hypothesis.
yeah,
You know, it's-
I don't think we can go back to the old family
Yeah.
culture.
So it's not even possible to do that. Woman stays home, man goes into the workforce, or one
Or
person.
man
If-
stays
if,
home.
If you want to do it, I'm not going to stop you from, doing your housework.
No, certainly. certainly.
But yeah, it's not a must, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have
One more.
any final comment?
One first response to that idea. That
Or-
What was the exact question?
the one about is greater equality between men and women in the world, does that undermine the family in some way?
Oh, that's really serious question.
Okay, how about this then? How about, because we only have a couple minutes, has anyone said anything yet that leads you to have a final comment about this question? About how close you,
Like wrapping out the whole things.
yeah, like what's the ideal relationship? Hey, I'm going to ask it very simply. What is the ideal relationship between men and women?
If it has to be a word, then I would say it's chill, like each other's, like ideal relationship between men's and women. And if it comes with the men's and women's, then no one's cannot like, how can I say, like make the word for this is the ideal relationship for the men's and women. So
What was the one word?
chilling, like being comfortable with each other.
Chilling. Yeah, no, that's cool.
The ideal relationship between men and women is chilling.
Yeah, chilling together.
And how close is Korea to achieving this chill relationship?
Not good enough.
Not good.
Yeah.
So I like for just 30 seconds, I just want to say like I saw a lot of high school students in here. So I just want to say it's going to be totally different if you go to the university. Girls and boys relationship, it's going to be totally different. Like you've seen like 10 or 15 years in your life. So I want to say like, if you are okay and if you can do it, please like unpurposely, please thinking about always, he's not a boy, she's not a girl.
Yeah.
I think it's really important.
Yeah.
Just see that person as a human.
Yeah.
I think it's really important. Of course, if he or she is your crush, then you need to see them as a not a person as mine, but sometimes, almost if you meet someone in a really new way, then you need to see them as a human.
Yeah.
I want to say that.
You know, with this in mind, my final comment will be on this question. When I see students today, our students in the United States who are really coming from all over the world, but coming and studying, I'm always surprised by how men and women form these really close friendships in the U.S. anyway. Really close, man. They're like my best. Like
brother, sister.
Yeah, like my best. Oh yeah, my best buddy. I'm like, oh, who's your best buddy? And then I see him. It's like, wait, your best buddy's a woman. You're a guy. Like, that's so interesting.
Wow,
like,
radical.
No, which is very simple, right? But when we were your age, that was not. Mm-hmm. That was really not nearly as true in that way. So, it was much more like Korea is today. Yeah. Hey,
okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks for
yeah.
playing in the sandbox.
Yeah. Thank you for volunteering. It's awesome. Yeah. All right. You can just stay up here. Okay. Okay. Thank you for thanks for watching, and really appreciate it. And thanks to all the volunteers. You all were awesome. So
Yeah, you taught us a lot of things already.
yeah, it's great. This is so much more fun and more interesting than us talking. Yeah, so thanks. Anyway, thanks for watching the stream. We'll be back on in a couple days. All right. You can.